Welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Minute, your source of internet marketing inspiration.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Law Firm Marketing Minute. I'm your host, John Hanson, and apologies for missing last week. 2021 did not end well for me, and 2022 did not start well for me. Had COVID last week of the year, so I was unable to record. I actually ended up losing my voice because of it for a little bit, which kind of important, I guess, for a podcast. And then January 1st, had a couple of trees fall on my house after a storm that we had here in the Charlotte area. So a bit of a rough start, but trying to get back into the normal swing of things. This is a big episode number 400. Just crazy that we've been doing it for this long. I remember back when Danny and Mark first started this show, there weren't a lot of podcasts out there yet. Podcasting has just blown up so much over the last couple of years, probably since like 2018, 2019, it really started to take off. And I remember Danny and Mark doing this show a little bit before that, kind of right when, things were really starting to blow up in the podcasting world. And now we're here, trying to have been doing this show consistently. I mean, I think, we took the Christmas holiday off. And so those 2 or 3 weeks there were the first shows that we had not done in more than a year, I think. So finally, going to be back here and ready to hit the ground running here in 2022. A lot of great stuff coming from us here at Spotlight Branding this year, and really excited to announce that once everything is official. So with that in mind, one of the things that I am going to be focusing on this year, especially with the content that we're putting out and just the messaging and the subject matter that we're going to talk about, still going to be heavily marketing related, but I also really want to focus on mental health because it's something that a lot of people are not talking about. There's not a lot of resources on it. And I think that there's still a stigma around just talking about mental health, being aware of it, actively, addressing it and working on it and everything like that. And so that's going to be a part of our content here with Spotlight Insider that's going to be launching later this year. There's going to be a whole section dedicated to that. It's just something that's very important to me as someone who has mental health, struggles and things like that of their own. And one of the things that, and kind of what we're going to talk about today is just this idea of happiness, especially in the legal industry. There's, I'm sure you've seen all the reports and all the statistics, especially the legal industry, that lawyers have some of the highest suicide rates, some of the highest depression rates, alcoholism, whatever it is. A lot of things around negative mental health. And I think for me, one of the things that I realize that often ends up helping is just this idea of happiness. All right. So when I talk about that, we all have this pressure. I think there's this weird societal pressure that you should be happy and that you should be chasing success. And it's a different definition for everybody. But one of the things that I have learned that has really helped me is I think, we all think that we have to strive to have a baseline of happiness. And that's not necessarily true. I think realistically speaking, we're not going to be happy all of the time. Every day is not going to be a good day. That's just realistic. And I'm not going to be one of these motivational cheerleaders who's always going to be encouraging people to think positive and to, vision cast, what your goals and dreams are. That's not me. And I'm not the type of person who's going to encourage that sort of thing. If that sort of thing works for you, fine. But that's not the angle that I'm going to be coming from. For me, one of the things that has helped me is learning to be content. And I feel like the word content which is ironic because we're a content company. It's spelled the same way. I just find that funny. But um, there's this weird negative connotation to the word content and the idea of being content. And I think that that's really unfair, because if you look at the dictionary definition, the definition of the word content is just the idea that you are at peace and a sort of blissful acceptance of your current circumstances. And that doesn't mean that your current circumstance has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be where you want it to be, but it's accepting and being okay with where you are in that moment. Right now, I think we all want to strive to continually improve, and that's great. But if we take stock of where we are now versus where we've been, or whatever the case is, I think we can find that, hey, we're in a good place right now, or here's where we are, and I can see where we need to improve, and that's okay. I am content in this current moment. Another way to think about it, is in this world where we're constantly setting goals and, mileposts and all of that, milestones. We focus so much on getting to the goal that we set that we don't enjoy the actual journey to get there. And that's where a lot of happiness and contentment can live. Like, for example, for me in my personal life, I wrote several travel memoirs, where I took this giant road trip. I learned a lot about myself and about life and how the world works. I observed just how other people live and all that kind of stuff. And it could have been very easy for me, especially as someone who is more of an executor than maybe a strategist or a relationship person or anything like that. It could have been very easy for me to say, hey, I'm just going to go out and write a book. Here's what I need to do to write the book. I'm going to accomplish all of these tasks, and then I'm going to finish the book. And the book could have been the end goal that was the only thing I focused on. And I didn't realize I was doing it at the time, but I genuinely enjoyed every step leading up to the publication of those books. I enjoyed meticulously planning the routes I was going to take, right down to every single turn. I enjoyed scouting out different restaurants that I was going to eat at, every little point of interest and landmark and thing that I was going to stop and check out. I enjoyed doing that. And then on the actual trip, I enjoyed the drives and the scenery and all the stops in between. And I had a ton of fun. I was truly just blissfully happy and just in this carefree state of euphoria on the journey. And then I get back and I write the book. And what I always notice is at the end of the book, there was just this 2-week period of just like, not depression, but just this feeling of like, all right, well, what do I do now? What's the next thing? I don't really have anything to look forward to right now. And in that whole process of writing the book, I was very content with where I was. I knew I wasn't at the goal. I knew I hadn't reached the goal yet. I knew that there was a lot that I still needed to do, but I was content with where I was at that moment. And so in your business life, in your marketing, along the way, maybe you're building up this marketing strategy and you're looking to get a certain number of leads, a certain number of clients, a certain revenue number, whatever. Take time to stop and just appreciate where you are in that moment. And look at where you've come from. Look at how your business used to be 5-10 years ago, or however long you've been in business. Look at where you are now and the strides that you've made, and then look at the goal ahead and enjoy the journey to get there. Because oftentimes what a lot of people do is they're so focused on the goal. And then by the time they get to the point where they reach the goal, they've already created a goal, a higher goal or a different goal. And they're already looking forward to that. And they don't stop and celebrate the win. They don't stop and celebrate the accomplishment. So that's what I, want to challenge you guys to do this year, is to just, you don't have to slow down. You don't have to necessarily change how you do everything, but just in the moment, feel at peace with where you are in that moment, knowing full well that where you're going is going to be an improvement. And in 6 months, you're going to be in an even better place than you are right now. That's what we're striving to do. So, take some time to just, whether it's gratitude or mindfulness or whatever it is that you do to get into that headspace, enjoy the journey. All right. And I think that's what I'm going to title this episode. It just enjoy the journey. It's so easy to get stressed out. It's so easy to get overwhelmed, but enjoy the process of getting from point A to point B. Don't just look at point B and put your head down until you get there, because you end up learning a lot more along the way. And you also end up enjoying and feeling more accomplishment when you reach that goal at the end. All right. Hope that's helpful as always. Really looking forward to what 2022 has, not just for Law Firm Marketing Minute, but for Center Stage and everything else that we've got going on here at Spotlight Branding. Really do look forward to it. I appreciate all the continued feedback. I even heard from some of you wondering where the episodes were or when we would be coming back. And so that's really great to hear. If you have not yet, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're consuming the show, and leave some reviews. That actually helps the show grow, helps other people find it. So if you're finding value in this, leave a review and that will help other people find the show as well. So I really do appreciate that. And that's going to do it for us this week. I was going to maybe make some more announcements, but we'll hold off on those for next week. All right. That's going to be it. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us. Please visit lawfirmmarketingminute.com for more information. We'll see you next time.